Hello and welcome. My name is Sam and I am one of the directors of award-winning arts company Nimblefish, and I am a theatre practitioner and a theatre producer.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the other director of Nimblefish, and I am a writer and also a producer.
We're working with a new direction to bring you creative well-being at home, which uses different art forms to explore how we can cope, how we can balance, and how we grow as people and professionals at this time.
So all of the activities in the Creative Wellbeing at Home series have been used by us many times with teachers, with creative professionals, and with children and young people.
This activity, like all creative well-being for home activities, is a chance for you to explore your creativity and to express yourself.
And we would invite you to use, edit, adapt any of the activities in this series for use in your setting, in your home, your workplace, and at any time you need to reconnect with your well-being, your creativity, and your sense of purpose.
So the game we're going to explore today is called the Paper Bag and Object game. And it's one of my favorites, and you can play it online or in person. And it's recognition that we've all been spending a lot of time, or I have, looking at a screen via Zoom mainly as a result of lockdown. And one of the things that Greg and I have found is that the quality of exchanges via Zoom are very different for lots of obvious reasons than being in a room with other people. And that it's quite challenging to bring your authentic self when you're working in these literally in these little Zoom boxes, and that there is potentially a formality, an unintentional formality of working through Zoom, which perhaps can stifle creativity or authentic conversation. So this exercise is designed to just bring a little lightness into exchanges and meetings, and hopefully set a different tone to signify something else is possible, and bring perhaps a more playful atmosphere in order to have more creative divergent conversations. So the first thing you will need is a paper bag or a plastic bag or an envelope. Doesn't really matter, some kind of bag. I'll give you a couple of minutes to go and find that, and we'll see you back here. So now I'm assuming you have your paper bag, and this is my one.
I've got a plastic bag.
That's Greg's plastic bag. And we are now going to work through the powerful tools of being wonderful mimes. And by that, I mean you're going to hold an imaginary ball in your hand. And with our imaginary ball, we're going to throw it into the air, and it's going to land into our bag. Okay, so we just try that. So we throw it up in the air, we watch it go in the air, and we watch it land. Boop. Okay, I'm going to take it out. Oh God, it's still there. Great catch, everybody. And this time, to make it sound like the ball is landing in our bag, we're going to take our our index finger and our thumb and click our bag, or make a sound as best we can. So it sounds like the imaginary ball is landing in our bag. So we throw it in the air, 1, 2, 3. And there it is. And then we're going to take our imaginary ball and we're going to play a game, because we're going to throw the ball around the space, or to our participants on Zoom. And we're going to throw it through the screen, and whoever we throw it to is going to then catch it in their bag. So I will take my ball, say whoever I'm throwing it to, say their name, and they will catch it. So let's try this. So, Greg? Oh, great catch, Greg.
And there it is. Okay, and I am going to toss it back to Sam, because we're the two participants here. You ready?
Yep. Oh, that was a very fast throw, Greg. It's difficult to catch that one. Okay, And that's basically the paper bag game. But there is that might be enough just to signify to people, okay, I'll put my ball down now, that things are going to be different, or just to bring some lightness. You could open, you could close with that game as well. But there's a second phase part to the activity, which is a bit more about checking in, a bit more about where we are at, how are we feeling, which can take conversations into a deeper level. And Greg will describe that bit now.
Right. So what we would like you to do now is to find and bring with you to this conversation an object that just connects with you right now, connects with you today for any particular reason, connects with your mood, connects with what you've got going on. It might be an object right in the room with you. So just something, anything at all, don't overthink it, that really connects with you right now. So hit the pause button, take a few minutes, not too many minutes, and then we'll take you to the next step. Great. So hopefully now you've chosen your object and you have it with you. And what we'd like you to do now is to place your object in your bag. So I've put my object in this bag here. And Sam talked before about us using these days, us and you probably using a lot of Zoom. These activities work really well as well if you use Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or really anything where you've got lots of boxes of people on your screen. But this part of it is, through the magic of Zoom, we're going to first talk about the object that we have. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this object. I'll show it to you. This is a drawing of our neighborhood that my daughter did when she was quite young. Keep it in this room. It's very detailed, very complicated, lots going on. And the reason I chose this object is because I feel that's what my life is like today. There's lots of detail, there's lots of complexity, lots of things going on. It feels very busy. So I picked this object here, pulled it out of my bag. Now, we have discovered a particularly magical property of Zoom. The same one that allows you to play catch is the one that allows you to take this object and to throw it somewhere to someone else on your Zoom screen and for them to catch it. And what happens in that process, amazingly, is that your object transmutes to somebody else's object. It transmutes to something else altogether. So I'm going to get ready to toss this to Sam. You got your bag ready?
Okay, yeah. I'm getting ready to catch it, okay?
Ready, okay, here we go. Ready, and go.
Greg, your object's magically turned into a tiny banana. I don't know if you can see it. So this banana is, it's wooden and painted, and it's kind of imperfect and got marks on it, and it's very nice and tactile to hold. And I chose this object. I was drawn to this object because of its color and its brightness and its playfulness, a bit whimsical. And I wasn't necessarily thinking about this at the time, but I think I'm drawn to it because of its lightness and its playfulness and its kind of whimsy, and of perhaps maybe the invitation of thinking, oh, maybe I need a little bit more of yellow and joyfulness right now. And that something around the handmade nature of it, it being not perfect, but still useful and wanting to kind of, touch it and hold it and experience it. So, that's my interpretation.
So this is something you can do with loads of people in a screen space. It does work best if you can see absolutely everybody on the screen. So if you've got meetings of more than maybe 20 people, it might be tougher, but not impossible. And it really, there are two purposes to this. So one is it's a way of checking in. It's a way of, introducing, if you've got a meeting with people, particularly people you may not know so well, or you may not know everybody, of just having them come into the space and tell everybody what's going on in a different way. But it's also similar to just the throwing into the bag game. It's a way of suggesting that there are different versions of ourselves we can bring to these sometimes two-dimensional meetings. We can have fun still, we can be creative, we can play. on Zoom or Skype or Meet or whatever it is that we're using. So it's just a way of coming into the space and occupying the space a bit differently.
So we hope that this activity has been a little bit playful for you, and that you're able to find other people who you can engage and play the paper bag and object game with. And the kind of reflection from this activity might be around what is the role of play, or the usefulness of playfulness right now, with when we're working in such constrained, restricted environments. And by deliberately creating time and space for play, what else becomes possible? And we know that when we first ran this exercise, it felt a little bit intimidating to do something so different with adult professionals. But actually, the conversations and the feedback we had was very positive around people being able to do something slightly different. And there was a lot of relief of, oh, thank goodness, it wasn't just another hour and a half of sitting and listening. So the invitation is, yes, to think around how we might bring more play into what we're doing right now.
So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this Creative Wellbeing at Home activity, and that it's given you something useful to support your own well-being and your own creativity.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to join this session, and we wish you health, happiness, and many creative journeys ahead.
Thank you. Take care.